As miserable and depressing as 2020 was as a whole, we here in the knife and EDC world witnessed something of a renaissance. It seemed every morning when you woke up, you would open up any social media site of your choosing to the news of a dozen new and exciting releases, teasers, or announcements. Day after day, month after month, the seemingly endless stream of new designs just poured over us, just like that water bucket scene from Flashdance. And I, for one, enjoyed every minute of it. There were so many new releases, it has honestly become pretty difficult to truly call one knife a standout over another, and I could do a 30-minute special discussing every new release in 2020 that sent me running for a cold shower. But this video is not that 30-minute special, and this video is not about my strange sexual addiction and attraction to cutting tools. Today's video is about this. The WE Knife Co. Snecx Mini Buster, announced at SHOT Show 2020, the WE Snecx collaboration seemed at the time to have taken everyone by surprise. The Mini Buster is based on the violently expensive and much sought-after Snecx Customs by the same name, and this full-sized frame-lock flipper had my jaw dragging across the floor from the very moment I first laid eyes on it. And from what I've seen across the rest of the internet, I was not the only one. The Mini Buster is available in a handful of colorways, this one in this flawlessly done black on black with the polished bronze colored hardware. You can also pick one up with stonewash finishes on the blade and the handle, or you can go black handle stonewash blade, still rocking bronze hardware. The scales are this machine titanium, and the styling is a very well-blended mix of far future Space Force meets modern simple elegance. And if you've seen my Best Tech Showdown review, you will know that I am a sucker for this kind of future tech Blade Runner-esque styling. We've got this nice integrated back spacer that runs up 80% of the back of the handle, and the little stylish cutaways on the sides. Everything visually speaking is a home run for me. The pocket clip is milled titanium and blends well with the rest of the design, and it actually works. Depending on your pocket thickness, carryability has not been sacrificed for looks. And I really love the extra little pop we get from the shiny, brassy, bronzy hardware. Oh, and speaking of hardware, this full-size flipper is held together by, I shit you not, 4 body screws, and a 5th if you're counting the pocket clip. 5 screws. The rest of the knife world needs to take notes. I'm looking at you, Zero Tolerance. You do not need 13 screws to put together a sturdy, strong pocket knife. If we can make it happen with 4 to 5 screws, surely the magnificent engineers at ZTE can figure something out. And that lack of hardware leaves us with little to no distractions from all of that stunning milling work. And it's not overwhelming amount of crazy milled lines and patterns. It's all just very tasteful. Gives us a decent amount of flair and intrigue without feeling overdone. Closed up, it looks phenomenal, but when you go to flip this baby open, boy howdy, then it really starts to turn heads. If you've watched many of my videos, you will know that I am an unapologetic whore for a good Wharncliffe, and this is most definitely a good Wharncliffe. God, recording this right now, it is taking every ounce of self-control in my body to not pause the recording and start touching myself. All 3.5 beautiful inches of 20 CV simply demands your attention. And this is not some kind of thin and frail utility slicer. No. This is some serious, I am not a toy blade stock, and yet this puppy is made to work. We're working with a tall, flat grind that comes about 80% of the way up the blade before it meets the flat, and she comes down to a pleasantly thin cutting edge. And we being we, they ground this thing to slice without fail and without regard for the trail of dissected molecules left in its wake. If you're like me and you like box cutter levels of sliciness out of your folders, the Mini Buster will most definitely not disappoint. And on the topic of things that do not disappoint, the action. Oh, it is top notch. And although you only have the short, chody little flipper tab to use for opening, you won't have any problems getting some serious fidgeting in. And because that blade is long and heavy, or running on ceramic bearings, this beauty is perfectly drop shut. I mean flawlessly drop shut. And it drops shut with such grace and control. I just can't put it down when I carry it for the day. Even down to the sound it makes. Just listen. Just listen to it. No bearing grit, no extra clanks or kerplunks, just a satisfying tick on the open, and a perfect click from the detent, returning home when it closes. It's music to my ears. A quick note on the action, that little chody flipper tab we talked about, it took me an hour or so to get used to it. I struggled just the slightest bit when this first arrived, but once you get hand placement tied down, it's an effortless and endlessly reliable action. Post-learning curve, this might even be my favorite flipper-only action to date in all of my collection. And I think a lot of what I love about the action comes from Snex's unique and I'm reading here, I'm paraphrasing, HDPS system, and it stands for Hybrid D10 Pin System. Yeah. Which is just a fancy word for the ingenious way this knife's D10 works. The steel lock bar insert and the D10 pin, not D10 ball, pin, is all one piece. So unlike a traditional D10 ball system on pretty much any frame lock, the Mini Buster, as soon as you push the lock bar out of the way, the D10 is also completely out of the way. Immediately. And this makes the ease of actuation and ease of use on this guy just a step and a half above anything else I have ever experienced on a flipper frame lock. It's magical. It's hard to describe or explain, but once you experience it for yourself, you will never want to go back to an old-fashioned D10 ball system, I promise. Now that all that technical mumbo-jumbo is over with, let's move on to the ergos. And I have to say, I absolutely love having this thing in my hand. It's a full-size knife, so you'll easily get a full purchase on the handles no matter the size of your hands. And there's nothing on here that comes anywhere close to being a hotspot or a pinch point. I'm getting to a point where I am running out of metaphors to use for how comfy a knife is in the hand, so insert quote-unquote damn this is comfy metaphor here. So there you have it, the much talked about, much lusted after Snecx Mini Buster. At $298-ish from most major retailers, this is just about the only way any of us poor knife nerds will ever be able to get our hands on a Snecx, considering its customs are 1, impossible to buy in the first place, and 2, priced anywhere from $1,700 all the way up to $9,000 for a full custom buster. Like, this is just about the closest thing to the deal of the century that I will ever come across. I absolutely adore this knife. The looks and the styling are magnificent, the blade is gorgeous and perfectly ground for cutting performance that is through the roof. The fit and the finish coming from is nothing less than exceptional, and the action from that heaving blade, smooth bearings, and the wild HDPS D10 system, it's like a shot of heroin straight into the bloodstream. I can't get enough of it. So if it's available and you've got $300 to burn, do yourself a massive favor. Pick one up while you can. We did say that this is a limited release, so I really have no idea when they'll pull the plug on production. So if you likey the looky, spendy the money. You can thank me in the comments below. So, until next time, thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.